in the whores, demons trying to trap you with semen, their eyes gleaming. You better spit it out like Willie Beeman. This is spiritual war. Yeah, I'm ducking all the witches in the whores, demons trying to trap you with semen, their eyes gleaming. You better spit it out like Willie Beeman. Came back with vengeance. Yeah, you can hear the sound from my engine. Back to the business. I've been trying to eat healthy and I'm working on my fitness. Eased up with the tension, fulfilling my vision. Got it.
Yo, peace, blessings. Coming back with another spiritual video. Today, I'm gonna do something a little different, a little series I want to call Symbolism 101. So in this series, I'm just gonna be breaking down different stuff and the symbolism of things. You know, it's a lot of truths and hidden truths in the world that we don't know about, especially with a lot of top brands, top designer stuff, even the elite stuff in the world as far as government and people that run the world. It's a lot of things that we don't know the meaning of, and it's right in front of our face and we don't see the connections to it, or we don't decode the messages that's in these symbols. So of course we all know about Apple, Macintosh products and stuff that have been Apple that's on the products. So I'm gonna break that down, the symbolism of that, and compare that with the story in the Bible with the Adam and Eve story about how they ate from the tree of knowledge, which was about good and evil, and how I'm gonna connect that to the Apple products as well. So we all know the story about Adam and Eve. You know, they ate from the tree they were supposed to, the tree of knowledge, of good and evil. Once they ate from it, you know, basically they got in trouble for not being obedient to what God told them to do, and they knew stuff that they weren't supposed to know, and basically we all had to pay for their sins and, you know, all that stuff. So, but basically, you know, I'm gonna compare that with the Apple products and the symbolism of that. So, of course, we know Apple was like the first computer to have a mouse with it, around like 1984, I believe. And, you know, it started getting out there, it started becoming popular, you know what I'm saying, the more it got out there. Once you got closer to the 2000 era, you know, they started coming out with, you know, iPods and stuff like that. And then later on, you know, they started coming out with iPhones, iMacs, you know, iPads, iPhones, all that good stuff, iPods, and a whole bunch of other stuff that they created. Apple Watches later down in the further 2000s, they came up with all this stuff. So, of course, we know the symbol is the half bitten apple. And even though in the Bible it doesn't say it's an apple, it just said fruit, we all know it as the apple. So that's why I'm comparing it with that. So basically, the whole world bit from the apple, and it's spreading around where everybody is now having these products in their home and in their hands, and even outside their homes when they travel and when they go do business, or just, you know, take their computers, laptops, phones, iPods, iPads, whatever they're taking out the crib, they're taking it with them for fun. So it's spreading around the world once everybody bit that apple and bit that fruit of that technology brand of Apple. Once they started, you know, getting their products, next thing you know, if you had an iPod, you had to get an iPad. You had an iPad, you had to get a laptop. You know what I'm saying? You had to get a laptop, you had to get an Apple Watch. So it just started spreading once they bit from the apple, which is why I'm comparing that with the story in the Bible, because on their product it has the half bitten apple on the back of it. The next thing we're going to talk about is how even with softwares and certain stuff, like I said, once you get one of those products, you have to get all of them. It's to the point where people would look at you weird if you didn't have an Apple product, if you don't have an iPhone. They look at you weird if you got an Android. They look at you weird if you don't have an Apple laptop, Apple anything. So it started getting to that point where that product started spreading once the world bit into that fruit of that product, and it started spreading. And even then, there's certain softwares you can't even use. Like, you can't even use Logic unless you got an Apple laptop. You can't even use, you know what I'm saying, iCloud unless you got something Apple. You can't even use Final Cut Pro unless you got an Apple laptop. So even then, it's preventing you from certain software, so it's forcing you to now get those products. So if you want to do a Final Cut Pro, or you want to get Logic and you want to make music on it, or you want to edit stuff on it, you're going to have to get an Apple laptop. There's no way you could get it on the other software. So that's what I'm talking about, where it's forcing the world to bite into that fruit, that symbolism on the back of their products of the Apple, to have to get that if you want those certain softwares, even with that. So that's even a deeper level of it. Then we fast forward, we get to 2011. That's when they came with Siri, the voice. It's actually, I forgot her name, but it's an active voice who is the voice behind Siri. I forgot her name, but that came in around 2011, and I'm gonna break it down to some astrology stuff and some Chinese calendar stuff. The age of Aquarius is 2012. Well, certain Chinese calendars or certain other calendars is different, but the one I follow, the age of Aquarius is 2012. So that is the age of information. So when Siri came, Siri was going to bring information more further, which was you can ask anything, she'll tell you anything. So it's not a coincidence that in 2011 they came up with this, and then coming towards 2012, which is the age of Aquarius. So like I said, all these people, all these elite people, all these top people that make the money and make these brands and introduce it to us, they know about these things, they know about the symbolism. Same thing I said with Ralph Lauren. It's a reason why Ralph Lauren got the symbol of a horse. A horse is a very powerful symbol. So it's a reason why on his clothes he got a horse. It's a reason why people like that clothes so much. You know what I'm saying? It could be another shirt that look just like that, but if it don't got that polo symbol, people not gonna want that shirt because it's the symbolism of the horse and the power of a horse. It's a reason why they got horse racing on tracks. It's a reason for that. So it's many different symbolisms and stuff in the world that we don't know about that they use and market it to us, and it's a reason why we like certain stuff or why we get certain stuff or why certain stuff is popular because of the symbolism and the power that the symbolism has when you put it on certain stuff, on certain items. So, but that was basically breaking down Siri and stuff like that. And for those that don't know, it's a star out there called Sirius. So I know y'all heard of Sirius XM, the satellite radio thing. It's the reason why they named it after that. Sirius is a star, and that's one of the brightest stars in the constellations up there in the sky. If you look at Siri, if you look at the star Sirius, the way it's so bright, if you look at Siri, the way Apple marketed with the symbol and the color on Sirius, the same exact thing when you look at the star Sirius. It looks the exact same thing. Go look up Sirius star, look how bright it is, and then go look at Siri that the Apple people use, and it's the same symbolism. So like I said, it's not a coincidence that these people are using those things, and it's a reason why these things are so similar, because they're using that knowledge and putting it into their products and then market it to us, and that's why these things are so moving like that. That's why they're so flooding all these areas in the world and all these people. Like I said, once they bit into that fruit or that product, the apple, the Macintosh, that's when it spreads. Like I said with the Bible, with the tree of knowledge, once they bit into that, everything's spreading. So I'm gonna get into the good and the evil part about these products and stuff like that. And also, we all know Macintosh is also Apple, so it's a reason why they use that too. It used to be, nowadays they got what I used to know as Red Delicious, the red apples. There used to be a golden apple. When I was younger, they told us it was Macintosh. You don't really see those like that. That's like the rare one. So it's the reason why they use that colorful, sometimes symbolism on Apple products too. They don't use it like that no more. They used to use it on their old products, but they used to be the color. They used to have different colors in the whole apple. But yeah, so we're gonna break that down. So then we're gonna get into the tree of knowledge and the good and evil of it. So yeah, these products is good. Like I said, the age of Aquarius, the advancement age of information. These products is good for that, but then it's also a bad thing because they slowing us down. Everybody in the world has these products where, like I said, they're using Siri for information, where you just using that voice and using that technology to just teach you everything instead of you going to look it up on your own. You relying that on the machine now rather than the person. People look at these things that call the smartphones and smart technology, but it took a human to make these smart things. So you're not telling me, you can't tell me that these products is more smarter than a human. It took a human to make these products, but we rely on these products instead of for our information, for our games. We use GPS systems. We use all these things instead of knowing directions. We use autocorrect instead of learning how to spell stuff, to the point you start forgetting how to spell stuff because you're using autocorrect so much. You forget how to get places on your own because you're using the GPS so much. So that's the bad thing about the knowledge of these things. It's a good thing about it as far as the advancement of information and technology and stuff in the technology era, but that's the bad part about it, where you start becoming crippled in your own mind and the way you move and how you maneuver with certain stuff. You start crippling yourself, and you start relying on that stuff like it's smarter than you. So, and then we get to a deeper level. Now the kids, before my age, kids was playing outside. Nowadays, I don't know where y'all from, but I could be outside at 2 o'clock and there's barely any kids playing on the court. When I was young, we was out there 9, 10 o'clock till it got dark out, to the point my parents had to come get us from the courts. We ain't have all that extra phones and iPads, iPhones, iPods, iMacs, all this extra stuff, Apple Watches. We ain't have all that. What we had was playing in the park, going to have fun, getting dirty, playing tag, knocking on the doors, all type of kid fun games, house, all that extra stuff. These kids now, they're in the age of information, so they fun is on these things. You got kids that's like 5, 6 years old, and they got iPads, they got iPhones. I had a phone, I had a Nokia phone, for those that remember, when I was in junior high, and it wasn't because that was the hottest thing, it's because my parents needed to contact me just in case an emergency happened. So when we had phones, it wasn't for no fancy, because that was in the trends. That was just because we needed to be contacted by our guardian or our parent if we needed to be reached or something after school or emergency, just in case something happened or we needed to go home. But nowadays, these kids are so much into the technology that they don't even do those kid things, playing outside, playing little kids games. They so much into grown stuff, and that's why they see all these things. They know how to research these things. They know how to look up all these things that they're not supposed to be really in contact with at such a young age, and that's starting their growth as a child, and they don't know how to be children now. And so that's really a lot of the bad things too, where, like I said, it's slowing us up even as adults, but it's also affecting the youth, the way the youth grows up and the way the youth interacts with each other. And even with the word iPhone, iPad, iMac, all that stuff is making you into a selfish, isolated got I in it, iMac, iPod, all that stuff. So that's making you selfish to the point kids don't even want to interact with each other, or even if they are in the same room, they all want to be on their iPods, their iPads, all those things. So the word I, it's a reason why they use that word I with Apple products as well. So that's another bad thing I was talking about, what I'm saying, biting from that tree of knowledge is a bad thing also for the youth. So when you look at it that way, you break it down. And then basically also too, like just having these things, we putting so much value into these things and into these products, especially these Apple products and stuff. Like I said, you can't go anywhere without anybody having an iPhone, an iPad, an Apple Watch. It's like they're gonna look at you weird if you don't got those things, or even make fun of you. So it's to the point we put more value in those things than we put value into people and into ourselves, and actually the actual human race and humanity and mankind. We put more value into those things. So that's another bad aspect where I'm breaking it down between biting into that fruit or the apple or the tree of knowledge, where that's also being looked at as a bad thing. So, I ain't gonna make this video too long and stuff. I just want to break those things down about, the history of that, the Bible story with Adam and Eve, them biting into the fruit. Like I said, they don't call it an exact apple, but we all just associate the fruit as an apple. So, and then relating to that with the Apple products and stuff like that, with them using the symbolism and how that's affected society from biting that tree of knowledge and how it's spread around the world, and the good and the evil parts of it. So, I'm gonna do more of this series, breaking down symbolism with different things, and we're gonna see how the series go. But this gonna be the first one, like I said, Symbolism 101, breaking down Apple products, and we're gonna see how it goes. So peace, blessings, much love, much respect, and I'll holler at you at the next video. Peace.
Break it down. Break it down, roll it, light it, spark it, ignite it, but don't fight it. Break it down, roll it, light it, spark it, ignite it, but don't fight it. Now I lay low on weekends, diving off the deep end. I don't have no friends, I can't lie or pretend. Late nights I'm wishing, feel